On Root Sports is presented by Lexus. The new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Only 6 regular season home games remaining. Fans settling in now to catch the Astros hosting the Angels in Game 2 of this 4-game set. Doug Fister on the mound. What does he need to do to beat the Angels? Well, I can tell you, containing Albert Pujols will be one of them. We're going to talk more about Pujols and the Angels coming up after the break. Stay with us. Of this 4-game set. Angels in town. Doug Fister on the mound for the Astros, trying to bounce back from a rough September that he's already had, and it's going to be a tough challenge for him when you get to the middle of the order for the Angels. Cole Calhoun's had success against the Astros, Mike Trout as well, but Albert Pujols coming up in the 4-hole. He got him last night. He's had more homers against the Astros than anyone else, ambushing a Mike Fiers fastball yesterday. So the Astros know how to pitch these guys. It's all about execution, and it's about the middle of the order. They've got to keep the guys in the bottom of that lineup off base, so these guys can drive them in. And for more on this, I'm going to send up to the guys in the booth. Phil Brown, Alan Ashby, how are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we are fantastic, Julia. Thank you. Well, Doug Fister has much better numbers, Ash, this season against right-handed batters. You see there what he's done overall.
Yeah, the recent numbers I think are the big concern with Doug, and how rough he's been beat up in the month of September. But again, you flash back to earlier in the year, very good. He's also a 12-game winner. So yeah, he's got a lot to rely on, a veteran that you need to be strong here this evening.
The lineups for the Angels, first of all, Yunel Escobar leads it off at third base. Cole Calhoun in right field. Mike Trout is the center fielder with Albert Pujols to clean up and a DH. Then it's first baseman C.J. Cron, shortstop Andrelton Simmons, left fielder Nick Buss, catcher Carlos Perez, second baseman Cliff Pennington. And the pitcher will be big right-hander Alex Meyer. In fact, these two right-handers very tall. This is a towering pitching matchup with Fister at 6'8". And we'll see what's going on here with Escobar. He's positioning Marwin Gonzalez as he hits, hitting .310. What's that all about? He was moving Marwin further off the first base line. Look how far he is between first and second.
And Escobar, actually a guy that can handle the bat and hit it that way. Let's see if he takes a shot.
He does not. He grounds to Gurriel at third. Out number one. So that's a new wrinkle. The hitter positions the fielders. We'll see if that will improve batting averages around Major League Baseball.
Move over another 2 steps. You'll be right where I want you.
Marwin complied, and it's out number 1 for Pfister. Well, anything that'll work like that for Pfister to get him started is important, because you detailed earlier the struggles he's had the last few times out. And now it's Cole Calhoun batting. Calhoun at .262 has 17 homers, 68 runs batted in. Much better on the road. And that's ball 1 to Calhoun. Giving the Angels some pop at the top of the lineup with the 17 homers. He has 28 doubles this season as well. Late on the fastball, and it's 1-1.
That fastball in a location that just about anybody would say is a sweet spot for him, and maybe part of the reason left-hand hitters have done so well against Doug this year, hitting .312.
Astros line up that way, playing him to pull on the ground. High fastball makes it work for a 1-2 count for Pfister. Pfister in September has an ERA of 12.42. He's 0-3 in 4 starts. He's given up 33 hits in 16 2/3 innings. Earlier this season, though, as Ash pointed out earlier tonight, the Astros won 10 straight Pfister starts. 2-2. He's had his moments, and it all adds up to 12 wins, 12 losses, and now a very big night for him. A.J. Hinch hoping the earlier version of Pfister is what he gets tonight. With the shift, there's Correa. 2 outs. Well, good signs here with the 2 ground balls for Pfister to open this game.
It's exactly what you'd like to see. He's not a guy that's going to strike out many. And sometimes when you get a guy that generally doesn't pick up the strikeout and he picks up a few, you could be in trouble. That oftentimes can mean he might be up in the zone a bit.
Mike Trout, with 28 homers, 95 runs batted in, always presents a threat. He looks at ball 1. Trout was 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's game. .316 batting average. Ranks among the leaders. That pitch is up, and Trout has worked the count 2-0 with Pujols on deck. Pfister makes it 3-0, working very quickly, as is his choice. .279 for Trout in 13 games against Houston with 11 walks, showing you the respect he has earned. And now 3-1. Marvin Hudson is the home plate umpire.
Last night, Mike Trout took a huge hack on a 3-0 pitch in his first at bat. Tonight, taking all the way.
Ground ball, Gurriel. Over to Gonzalez. Nice start for Doug Pfister with the first 0 of the night. Astros starting lineup. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It begins with the right fielder George Springer. Then it's Yuli Gurriel at third. Jose Altuve at second. Carlos Correa the shortstop. The DH is Evan Gattis. With first baseman Marwin Gonzalez. Left fielder Tony Kemp. Catcher Jason Castro. And center fielder Teoscar Hernandez.
And on the mound, he is a big one out there. Alex Meyer pitched against the Astros earlier this year. 1-2 overall in the season. Numbers not bad at .365. The ERA picked up in a deal with the Twins back at the trade deadline. And the off speed this month has been highly effective.
George Springer is first up for the Astros. Still plenty of light out there. We've had rains during the day. And there's strike one. Springer in last night's game had a single and a walk. He has scored 111 runs this year. 205 average this month. That power's in for a strike for Meyer, and he's in front 0-2. You mentioned the trade bringing him from the Twins, along with last night's starter and very effective winner Ricky Nolasco in the same deal to the Angels. He opens with a strikeout.
Well, you get a hint right away. He throws hard, 96, 97 the past couple of heaters, and just got ahead and stayed there on George.
Meyer has the power stuff. He has walked 13 in 16 innings. Gurriel the next to try him. 275, 3 homers, 14 runs batted in. Taking ball one up. Yuli 0 for 4 in last night's game. He snapped an 0 for 10 Wednesday with a single. He had been on fire prior to that. Pitch is outside. And Gurriel works it to 2-0 against Meyer, who is 26 years old, from Greensburg, Indiana. He went to the University of Kentucky. First round pick by Washington in 2011. And really trying to establish himself now with his new club. He and Nolasco were traded August 1st to the Angels for Hector Santiago and another player. In the air to center field, Mike Trout. 2 down for Meyer. And it's Jose Altuve.
It's good, man.
Altuve now has a 20-point lead in the American League batting race. After the big game last night, another 3-hit game for Altuve. He's at 340. 24 homers, 94 runs batted in, 509 against the Angels this season.
Stay hot and let the Astros take advantage of Altuve being on base.
Currently he has a 4-game hitting streak, and he is 7 for 18. Foul away. Take a look back at last night for Altuve.
He was hanging it out pretty nicely last night, and like you say, the 3 hits started the night going that way toward right center field. That's set up for a good one. Hits a very tough pitch into left field, and then just to keep it all going, that hit to get going in the 9th inning, it just did not come to bring anything for the club.
He has 23 3-hit games this season now. That's one shy of the Astros franchise record of 24. He set that in 2014. 206 hits for Altuve, leads the majors. This roller goes to first. C.J. Cron with the toss to Meyer. And Meyer has a 1-2-3 first. Nothing after 1.
Albert Pujols, yeah, he raked it again last night. Hot and cold zones. Down the middle, you're just going to get self-destructed, but he's got some other zones that he's handled pretty well. Still at this stage of his career, Albert Pujols can bang the long ball. He also hit one very hard for what turned out to be a single last night, but down and in, up maybe through the heart of the plate and right through the mid-level, away, the only zones that would be cool for Albert.
He looks at strike one from Doug Fister, opening the second inning with a .265 average. Pujols hit his 31st homer of the year last night for both the runs in the 2-0 Angel win. It's 0-2 to Albert. He's driven in 116, fourth in the majors in runs batted in. His homer was his 53rd against the Astros last night. This one's a liner toward the left field corner. It's hooking, and it's a foul ball. The call made by James Hoy emphatically at third base as Pujols trots towards second.
It's really hitting the curveball. Looked like Albert guessed curveball, just kind of stayed still. And we'll see the end result here. Boy, that is really close on that wall.
Very close.
I think the Angels are going to take a peek, or have the umpires take a peek here.
Yeah, Mike Socha just came out and indicated that. That was about as close as it gets, and a difficult call for an umpire. Pujols, the way he was trotting towards second.
Ooh, that's a fair ball.
Yeah, that did catch part of the line.
That's going to wind up being a double for Albert. Doubles have been hard to come by the way, in the days of not being able to run well. He's going to wind up with more home runs than doubles on his career.
Just wondering, with the angle we had from that view, if a better angle would be straight down the line, and we probably don't have that available to us tonight. Looking straight down from home plate toward the left field line, that might produce a little different look, but we'll see what the appears to be a quick ruling that's coming down from New York. Well, maybe not. Yeah, Jim Joyce took off the headsets, but now he puts them back on. He is the crew chief.
Wanted more bass, less treble on that. Yeah, I think it appeared to be a ball that hits the line. And again, if you look at doubles right now, if that turns out to be one, it'll be 601 career-wise for Albert Pujols. He's 10 back in the home run category, and I think he's going to catch the doubles with the long balls. I'm not sure what these guys are looking at for this long.
I think they might have a different angle. They're checking. Pujols got his 600th double last Friday. 16th player all time to reach that mark. And if this is a double, he will tie Barry Bonds for 15th place with 601. And it is going to be a double.
Cyclops was all over that one, Browning.
Yep. Two-base hit for Pujols. He and Barry Bonds are side by side on that all-time list. And a leadoff double gives the Angels that threat with C.J. Cron batting next. Cron, who played first base last night, going 0 for 4, checks in at .273 with 16 homers. Fister deals, and it's strike one to Cron. He cranks one out to right center field. That one is drilled off the base of the wall. It kicks past Hernandez. That'll score Pujols. It's an RBI double for Cron and a 1-0 Angel lead. Back-to-back doubles for the Halos. That's 20th for Cron.
And let's take a look at our MD Anderson strike zone. Let's see what Doug's leaving right here. And that kind of an area, don't actually see it in the strike zone, but that's belt high. Maybe working toward the outer third, but a lot of plate. And a lot of major league hitters are going to do damage on that stuff. And I think that's what's been going on for Doug.
Andrelton Simmons with a grounder. Here's Correa with a snappy play to his left. Cron advancing to third on a good out number one. Correa.
All you sabermetricians take note. That's a really good play. You know what? He sized that play up well, too. Didn't rush coming out of the 360. Made a very good throw.
Now the infield comes in tight. Nick Buss, the batter. Buss fouls it for strike one. Playing left field tonight with a .211 average. 1 homer, 6 runs batted in for Nick Buss. He was 0 for 1 last night with an at bat in the 9th inning. 1 for his last 8 for Buss. He looks at that one. It's 1-1. Carlos Perez is on deck. The Angels are 8-12 in September. They're in 4th place, 23 games behind the front-running Texas Rangers in the AL West. The Astros 11-2 against the Angels this year. 1-2. And in this version of September baseball for the Astros, getting the lead early is really important. Last night they fell behind 2-0 in the first, and they lost by that score. Broken bat out into right center field. George Springer cannot make the catch. Run number 2 will score. Here's Hernandez with the pickup, and the Angels get another runner to second base. That's 3 doubles in the inning. Springer took what seemed to be not quite the best route to that baseball and went over him, and the Halos now lead by a couple.
You nailed it, Brownie. That's my assessment as well. George Springer took a route that left him shy of where he needed to be. It's not like he was moving all over, just straight to this point, and all of a sudden the ball over his head. So you don't see this very often, if at all, for George Springer.
Nope. Carlos Perez is next. That's strike one.
Let's take a look at the Super Mo on this play by George. And he's already realized, oops, I made a mistake here. But I think what he was doing was trying to shallow up as much as possible to get a shorter throw to the plate.
Perez, a former Astro farmhand, takes a ball. He was 0 for 3 last night. Strong arm catcher, hitting .208, 5 homers, 29 runs batted in.
Quick release on top of that.
We have some warm-up action for the Astros in the bullpen. That's hit sharply. Gurriel diving to his right. Comes up with that one for out number 2. And in view of the urgency to the Astros situation, 9 games remaining, including this one, and also the struggles of Doug Fister, Michael Feliz is warming up.
And Gurriel continues to prove to be a very good third baseman. Again, the Super Mo, and again he makes the play. That's brought to you by Mattress Firm. He made a play or two last night that I thought were exceptional getting rid of the ball.
He did. Cliff Pennington takes ball 1. .213 for Pennington, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in, only 2 for 23 against Fister. It's 2-0. Second base has been a problem position for the Angels this year. Buss, the runner there now. He got his 7th RBI on that double. 3 doubles in the inning for the Halos.
Pitches are not consistently down around the knees.
Marwin Gonzalez has this one to end the top of the second with 2 runs scoring on 3 hits and a man left. 2-0 Angels.
Made Park. Special event, Minute Maid Park provides elegant event spaces and high-end entertainment in Houston's most iconic sporting venue. Learn more by calling 713-259-8800 or visiting astros.com/special events. Speaking of special events, something really cool to do at the ballpark today and tomorrow. Come by the Lexus Virtual Reality Experience Lounge, where there's 2 experiences. You see my sweet goggles. There's 2 different experiences. One is a cycling experience, and then you can get in a Lexus RCF, where I'm sitting now, and ride shotgun with a professional race car driver. That's what I'm about to do right now. 360-degree views. Oh my gosh, we're already going really fast. Oh guys, you gotta try this out.
Don't get sick, Julia. Don't get sick.
Where's my seatbelt?
Oh, torture. Very interesting stuff. Meanwhile, that pitch up and in on Correa really got away from big Alex Meyer for ball 1. And he has a streak of wildness in him by the stats. That one comes in and evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike on Correa. Carlos 0 for 4 last night, 272 for the season, 20 homers, 93 runs batted in, 370 with 20 RBIs against the Angels this year. And it's 1-2.
Appears to be wildly in the strike zone right now.
Yes, you're right. It's very unpredictable after that first up and in pitch. And the slider's off the plate. 2-2 on Correa. The most RBI by an Astro against a single opponent in a single year is Carlos Correa's 20, tying Chris Carter. 20 against Oakland in 2014. The club record is 24 runs batted in. Jimmy Wynn knocked in 24 against the Cubs in 1967. They don't care about that.
It looked rather juicy right there.
Liner right field, hit well by Correa. Calhoun watches it sail. It's off the wall. Correa digging into second. Here's Calhoun's throw. It's on the money, but he's safe. Correa drilled it after he almost got drilled by that first pitch. He's now hitting .383 against this club.
You better be on the move if you're going to beat a throw from Calhoun. He can really throw from right, and he's accurate on top of that. Pretty stroke with the 2 strikes. Go the other way and drive it. Ball comes right back off the wall, and Calhoun will come right over the top and bring a strike.
He sure did bring a strike. Correa keeping that foot on the base, otherwise Simmons had the tag on him and might have gotten the out call. Well, leadoff double, that's what Pujols did for the Angels at the top of the inning. Evan Gattis is next. Gattis takes strike 1. He has his best season going. 30 home runs for Evan Gattis this season. 67 runs batted in, 8 long balls this month, and his slugging percentage is up to .505 for the season. The slider works for strike 2 for Meyer. Meyer faced the Astros here when he was with the Twins May 3rd, and he was gone after 2 2/3 innings. He was tagged with a 6-4 loss. He gave up 3 hits and 3 earned runs, walking 3 and fanning 4. Sliders tap foul.
Now a peek at our Lexus defensive ratings on the outfield for the Angels. Nick Buss in left field, the question mark right now. It's a coin flip with the yellow. Very good outfielders in center and right, Mike Trout and Cole Calhoun, and you don't want to run a whole lot on them. You better be certain. We just saw the arm from Calhoun, and Mike Trout very similar.
in the dirt, and it's blocked by Perez. No, it's not. Here's Correa to third, and he makes it. Good read by Correa, who saw that baseball while Perez was trying to find it. Wild pitch.
Perez winds up heading to the East Coast while this went West Coast on him.
Turned the wrong way. You're right.
Oftentimes you just don't pick up where the ball goes. Actually, it might have been the other way. I think that wound up. Well, it was West Coast. Yeah.
Okay. It's not the West Coast offense that we used to talk about.
Not efficiently run, that's for sure.
Gaddis is down, and it's strikeout number 2 for Meyer. Now Marwin Gonzalez, really important for the Astros to get at least 1 run out of this inning after the Angels got 2. After that leadoff double by Correa, and it's Marwin Gonzalez to try to drive him in. 250 for Marwin, 13 homers, 45 runs batted in, but 279 against Angel pitching. He had a single in the 5th inning last night, going 1 for 3. Tony Kemp is on deck. Escobar in tied at third. And it's ball 1. Meyer needed only 10 pitches in the 1st inning. Correa the runner at third now. The Astros have won 6 of their last 8. They're 81 and 72. They're a game and a half out in the wild card race for the 2nd wild card spot. Fly ball should get him home. Out to left center field. Boss with the catch. Here's the tag. Correa waltzing home. 2-1 ball game. Sac fly. Marwin Gonzalez.
Now the Astros finally get their first run of the series against the Angels, and maybe that opens the floodgates, but it gets all started with Correa's leadoff double.
A wild pitch figuring into this run. Correa doing a nice job of running the bases, has scored, and it's Tony Kemp batting. Kemp is coming in for more playing time, with Colby Rasmus not feeling like playing for the last several days. And there's ball 1, strike 1 rather, to Tony. Tony got the call last night in left field, going 0 for 3, 232 with 6 runs batted in. That foul ball will reach the seats and make it 0-2 for Alex Meyer. Now, the report on Alex Meyer is that he struggles to repeat his delivery. He came to the big leagues and had only 2 games with the Twins last year. But walks have been on his log quite a bit. Last year at AAA Rochester, he walked 48 in 92 innings. 1-2 to Kemp now. Tony started the bat, and that's a strikeout with a tag by Perez ending it. Correa opened the inning with a double, took third on a wild pitch, and scored on a sac fly by Marwin Gonzalez. 2-1 Angels.
by Kubota. We're looking back at Doug Fister earlier this year in 11 starts May and June. He was 7-1, a 2.66 ERA, and we were talking about this guy maybe being an all-star. He really turned things around for this team during that time. The starting rotation was much better after he got going. He seemed to set things up well for the Astros. Hasn't been the same, really, guys, since. And here recently, it's been a pure struggle for him. Really frustrated after his last 4 outings. And as far as working on things, AJ even said today, it's not really about changing anything in the bullpen or maybe anything mechanical. This is all really just mental with him. He's got to find his way out of it. And so they've tried a couple of different things, even lowering his arm slot today, just to figure out a way to get hitters out and help this ball club, guys.
He's at a 1-1 count here on Escobar. 2-1 Angels as the 3rd inning has begun. Brent Strom watching carefully, as he always does. Fister making his 31st start as an Astro after coming on a 1-year deal as a free agent. This game will be delayed as Escobar needs a little time to regroup. But yeah, it's a difficult situation, Ash, for a guy like Fister, who had a really good year going, and now with the club in desperate need of good starting pitching, he has been struggling to provide that here in the month of September.
When you need it most, although without his 10 consecutive team wins put together May through June, where would the club be? So, you know, a win's a win anytime you can get it, but they certainly need one right now.
Well, he's worked hard to get back into that win column, and Astros have had some good starts lately. Mike Fiers last night giving up 2 runs in 6 1/3 innings, but they lost it 2-0. Colin McHugh got the win Wednesday in Oakland with 5 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs. Highest average, though, against the fastball this month is .467 against Doug Fister. That one comes up and in. 2 balls and a strike. Fister's career against the Angels, he's 3-3 with a 2.72 ERA for 11 starts. Has 2 starts against them this year with an ERA of 2.08. He beat them here on June 20th. That's a strike, and it's 2-2. The Angels have had 220 transactions since opening day. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That'll keep the secretaries busy.
Boy.
I don't know, Brownie, is there something in the air tonight? I'm being asked that question.
No, struck him out looking. Oh, Escobar jumping around after the call by Marvin Hudson. Strikeout for Fister.
Fastball runs back toward the outside edge. Did it get there? Maybe not.
Well, there was one stitch on there on that graphic. Did you see that one stitch on the baseball?
That was the loose one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Maybe so. You have keen eyes.
He disagreed. Cole Calhoun, who grounded to shortstop in the 1st inning, comes around for the 2nd time. Looking at ball 1 in the dirt. Calhoun came up last night as a pinch hitter, made an out. He had missed the previous 3 games to be with his wife for the birth of their son, Knox Pike Calhoun. Rams that one against the shift. It goes the other way for a 1-out single for Calhoun.
Astros fans, don't forget that we love showing your comments and reactions from Twitter during the telecast. Be sure to mention @RootSportsSouthwest in your tweet for the best chance to see it on air.
Well, we have a tweet for you. Daphne Baker, and she was so excited to get her Astros Foundation bag today. Got some tickets, a baseball. Very good, Daphne. Mike Trout looks at strike 1. He grounded out to 3rd, and we saw those people who stepped up and paid for a tour of the Root Sports production truck and the broadcast booth tonight. Enjoyed meeting those 4. 1 ball, 1 strike. They were taking it all in. The production truck, though, is where all the action is, Ash.
I've seen you out there too.
No, never. Hey, one day next year, maybe it'd be a good time to hang out in the truck, because that's where the frantic activity is.
I've been out there, but I've noticed the doors are locked every time I show up.
In the air over second base, and that dunks into center field for a hit in front of Hernandez. A looping single for Mike Trout. First and second, 1 out for Albert Pujols now.
It's his first hit on the series, and looked like a rookie showing up. Give me the baseball.
He's had another outstanding year. And Pujols, who doubled and scored in the second inning, comes around with 2 men on base. One of the top RBI men during his time in the big leagues. And he showed it again last night with 2 more runs batted in. Passed Frank Robinson on the all-time RBI list. 1,814. Strike as Michael Phillies, for the second time tonight, warms up. We wouldn't expect to see him warm up probably for a third time. Generally, the way things work this time of season, if he warms up twice, he's either going to be in the game or shut down for the rest of the night. That speaks to the importance of this game. Ground ball goes foul.
Albert's quick once again. You run that stuff inside, and just at 89, it's going to quicken up some bats, but Albert's not missing when you bring that fastball in through the heart of the plate, inner third.
The Baltimore Orioles trail Arizona 2-0. They're in the middle of the 6th inning. Baltimore slipping out of that second wild card spot, with Detroit sweeping a doubleheader at Minnesota last night. The Tigers are all over Kansas City tonight. It's 6-0 Detroit after 4.5 in Detroit. In that Arizona-Baltimore game, Shelby Miller is pitching a shutout ball for the D-backs. That ball evens the count at 2-2. Now it would appear the Tigers are going to be a team to watch. And Osmus got an excellent start from Justin Verlander in one of those games of the doubleheader. Verlander, one of those experienced hands at postseason play. Line to left field. Tony Kemp up for the catch. Hard hit ball for out number 2.
Wow. That's just reaching down on a pitch low, hitting it with one hand and stinging it to left field. Danny Duffy works for the Royals tonight. Yeah, there's your matchups on the evening. Yankees, Tigers, Mariners, and Orioles all in that hunt, along with the Astros.
Quite a year for the rookie Michael Fulmer, with 10 wins and a 3.03 ERA. A lot of mentions for Rookie of the Year. C.J. Cron takes after the RBI double in the second inning. He looks at ball 1.
Tony Kemp got fooled on that line drive by Pujols with that one hand. That ball just hung forever.
Roll to first base. There's the backhand play by Marwin Gonzalez, tossing to Doug Fister for out number 3. No runs, a couple of hits, and 2 men left in the 3rd inning. It's 2-1 Angels.
It's time to play Name That Astro. This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer, and we give you clues. You guess by tweeting us at Root Sports SW. Nailed pitching in 3 decades, filed 221 career wins, and it was involved in the Jim Shays trade. This one is easier than most, so I expect a lot of responses.
Yeah, we'll get that correct answer in about 4 seconds, Julia. How'd you enjoy that ride, that virtual ride down there in the Lexus?
Ooh, well, it almost made me car sick.
Yeah,
I mean, it's realistic. It's pretty cool.
Jason Castro leads it off here in the home third. Taking ball 1 for big Alex Meyer. Castro hit a home run off Meyer here in that May 3rd game. 212 for the season, 11 homers, 32 runs batted in. Infield is overshifted. Broken bat looper left field, and that will dunk in the other way for Castro. Nick Buss gets to it, and it's a single leading off the 3rd for Jason.
Take that, baseball. Julia, you want to take that ride again?
I would take it again. I want to do the cycling. I didn't get to do the cycling experience. I can't watch myself do this. This is ridiculous.
You look really cool in those glasses, Julia.
I'm really confused.
How'd your shoes look as you look down at them?
So you can't see it. You're looking at the road in front of you. You know, so when you look back, you're looking at the back seat of the car, and you're on the racetrack. It's hard to explain, but it's really cool.
Yeah, you said it was 360. I'm hoping you don't make that turn while you're driving anyway.
I know. It's a lot cooler than what you look like as you wear them.
Oscar Hernandez showed bunt that time at 222. He has 4 homers now. Escobar's on the grass at 3rd. And he swings away there. It's 1-1. September baseball can be different strategically for teams in the hunt. They're more likely to play small ball, to use bunts. Runner takes off. There's a bouncer third base, and it's foul. So the hit and run play is what they elect to go with there. Castro back to first with a 1-2 count.
I don't think Julia has fooled anybody with her Name That Astro tonight.
Are they coming in?
Yeah, they're coming in.
All right.
Hot and furious.
I love it. Keep them coming. Means people are paying attention tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
He's one of the all-timers for this franchise. Hernandez strikes out. That's number 4. And Meyer turns it over and goes back to the top of the order. And George Springer. So Negro on his Emery board, huh?
Was that the name of the band that he toured with?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that was his solo act there.
George Springer fans hoping that George can advance Jason Castro. He struck out his first time up. This one goes to right field. Castro gets to second base. That slider just hung for Springer, who went the other way with it, and that's hit number 3 for the Astros.
That's a stroke that kind of brings back memories of a period of time last year. Just shooting it the other way, staying on the baseball instead of that big home run hack, and beautiful results here. I seem to recall I believe a 5-hit game in Chicago against the White Sox last year that really got him going.
Well, he went up the middle in the 10th inning Tuesday for that game winner as the Astros won at Oakland 2-1. Yuli Gurriel hit a fly ball to center field. Yes, runners at first and second and 1 out. Popped up. Infield fly. Caught by Simmons, 2 outs. Umpires waited for Simmons to get underneath the baseball before they call that infield fly.
A lot of fans seem to be confused at times about the infield fly. It's only called with runners at first and second or the base is loaded, not with a runner at first only or a runner at one of the other bags.
And there's a reason for that, and that is that they don't want a team in the field to be able to get a cheap double play.
Or the potential triple play for that matter.
Right, in that case. And so if there's a runner at first, the presumption is the batter needs to run to get to first, so he won't be doubled up on that. In case they let the ball drop and get the force at second. Jose Altuve grounded out earlier. He takes a pitch up, ball one. Altuve has been terrifically successful in these situations. Men in scoring position. Altuve's a .382 hitter with men in scoring position. .326 with 2 outs. Ground ball. And there's Escobar throwing for the force to Pennington. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left after 3, 2-1 Angels.
Those kinds of signs.
Picture with Julia priceless.
No, you don't.
They're going to run you all over the stadium for pictures, Julia.
I'm going to have to go up there. They are way up there, too.
You're actually going to do that?
Yes.
Ooh, good for you.
They made signs. I don't have to.
Well, that's true. If they make a sign, you got to get up there. They
They're
strike
great.
one.
I love that.
Andrelton Simmons grounded out to shortstop. Correa made a nice play up the middle to get him.
Look at that, where they
Way
are.
up there.
It's going to take me some time.
Oh.
Run the
Hopefully they'll
concourse
still
up
be
there,
there.
okay?
We'll see you in the 7th inning, Julia.
Hope there's an elevator over there somewhere.
1-1. There is. It's just a matter of the fact that you don't go up there very much, right? So.
Way up there, yeah. It's rare. It's a rare occasion.
It takes you kind of out of your comfort zone, out of your office.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Has anybody ever hit a baseball in that area, Brownie? You're the man that could give us that answer.
Don't remember that happening.
It's a pretty good bolt, right?
Boy, that is a shot. Julia will take her tape measure and she'll let us know when she gets up there exactly how far it is. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Doug Fister. That is a massive clout.
It's looking further and further every time.
Julia, you're going to make history. Whoa! Simmons swings and misses, losing his balance for a strikeout.
You could hear the grunt right there. And that may not have been about the swing. It may have been more about is that ball going to hit me?
Yeah.
Watch this ball in his right shoulder, how close they come together. Maybe the right rib cage area. He was going to take the same abuse Julia took with one here recently.
Still recovering from that.
Where was that, Julia?
Where was it?
Yeah, where?
When I took one to the rib?
Right.
Yeah, it was around the rib area.
No, I mean, where were we at the time?
Oh, Cleveland.
Okay, that's right.
thanks to Colby Rasmus and his exit velocity of 300 miles per hour.
Not like you're remembering it all, right?
No, not at all. I'm still green in that area. It's going away, though. Bruce is going away.
Nick Buss had an RBI double. He swings at that one. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, Julia, this is going to be a history-making night for you because you're going to be the first person ever to get the virtual ride in the Lexus and then go to the upper deck.
Can the virtual ride take me up there somehow?
Well, maybe it could. Maybe
Give me a ride up there.
Give those folks up there a virtual thanks, okay, Julia?
If you'd like to go on a virtual trip, make it a lot easier. 2 balls and a strike. In the dirt, it's 3-1 now. Pfister needed 47 pitches to get through the first 3 innings. Astros had done an excellent job in winning 11 of 12 against the Halos with a 2.76 ERA, and then another well-pitched game last night. There's a 1-out walk. That's the first walk of the night for Pfister.
Make memories at an Astros game every Sunday with family-friendly activities presented by Kroger. The next Family Sunday is this Sunday's game against these Angels. For more information, visit astros.com/Sundays, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Signs from A.J. Hinch. Buss is 2 for 2 in steals. Here's Perez. And Carlos takes ball 1. He grounded out to third earlier. Astros traded Perez and right-handed pitcher Nick Tropiano to the Angels for Hank Conger in November of 2014. Carlos has spent some time at AAA this season. In fact, this is his 3rd stint with the Angels. Now James Hoyt is warming up for Houston. Runner was going and the ball is fouled third base side for a 1-1 count.
Yeah, you always hope to get some offense from anybody on the field, catcher included. But I will say this for Perez. His throwing game is strong. Yeah, he's got a nice quick release, accurate with the throwing, tough to run on.
In that Detroit game, as the throw goes to first, it's pretty close on Nick Buss, with the Tigers leading 6-0 after 5 over Kansas City. Victor Martinez hit his 26th homer off the Royals starter Danny Duffy. Runner going, pitch out, swing and a miss. The throw there early, and the tag by Altuve gets him. 2 outs.
That throw will do in a pinch. Not the ideal pitch out. You don't want to force a catcher to reach down on that pitch. Castro comes out and the pitch is far enough away from the plate, but ideally you take that thing up around your chest, as Altuve does right here. Perfect throw from Castro.
That's a big out now, cleaning the bases for Pfister. It's obvious on a hit and run play like that, when the hitter swings at the pitch out, that he is committed to swinging the bat. The runner going. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That comes up on a bad hop. Here's the recovery by Correa, and off the third baseman Gurriel. What quick reaction. A bad hop deflected by Gurriel's chest over to Correa. It's a 5-6-3, out number 3.
leading the Astros. We've got the bottom of the 4th. And it's time to name that Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We gave you some clues earlier. He's in the Jim DeShay's trade, 221 wins. We got lots of tweets on this one, but Joe Negro is your Astro today. I even got a tweet that said too easy. Were we too easy, Brownie?
That one might have been.
That was too easy.
Usually not. Usually not, Julia. Here's Carlos Correa. Yeah, it's fun. Correa doubled and scored the Astros run, taking the slider ball 1. Carlos continues to pound the baseball against Angel pitching. The double was his 35th of the year. His numbers are outstanding. Rips this ball, and that's too hot to handle.
Oh, dear. I'm not sure that was even seen by a couple of those folks down there.
You can't catch what you can't see.
Oh, that's true, and I'm not sure if they had seen it, it was going to help. Oh, man.
That went inside to Carlos, makes it a 2-ball 1-strike count. He was right on that pitch in the 2nd inning with his line drive double to right. That's a strike, and it's 2-2. It's just the inconsistency of Meyer that makes him a little tough, though, right?
I was thinking of Randy Johnson. People you said have said he has a hard time repeating his delivery. And I wonder if that was the same thing was said about Randy Johnson at one point.
I think it was. This liner goes deep to right field. Calhoun backpedaling onto the warning track, 1 out. Yeah, I believe the big unit had his share of wildness when he came up. A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Catches by fans featured here, and that gentleman was interviewed last night by Julia Morales.
It was one of our better defensive plays of the year, I think.
It has to be spectacular to get Julia up there. She got the story. And Gaddis takes a slider. There's ball 1.
A reluctant hero up there that Julia interviewed.
Gaddis takes. It's 2-0. Meyer had 37 pitches through the first 3 innings, 6 of 12 first pitch strikes. Hits the target with that one to go 2-1 now. Gaddis hit 4 home runs on the 6-game road trip. And now he's worked the count to 3-1, and his pitch selection is one thing he cites as his increased production reason this year. He's hit .298 since August 11th with an OPS of 1,038. But that time the slider got a swing from him, and it's 3-2 now.
That's what a 3-2 or a 3-1 rather slider can do to you. As a hitter, you just throw all the pitches out but the fastball.
Evans now 3rd in homers by American League catchers. He has set an Astros club record for single season homers by a catcher with 17.
Well, that pattern would say they'd like to work him down and away, but down and away was the location of a breaking ball the other day in Oakland that wound up in the seats.
Still priceless. She's still coming. They say they will travel. Oh, he works a walk by laying off that close pitch at 94, and that's the first walk of the night for Meyer. So, Julia, maybe they'll travel to you. It says they'll travel. Might not be necessary for her to go all the way up there.
The whole thing is priceless to them, but they bought the $6 seats.
Julia's got to feel good about the fact that if she has a picture with them, it's worth more than a Cuban sandwich.
Julia's a real Astros girl.
Depends on the Cuban sandwich.
She's on her way now, so she can't talk. She's incommunicado. Marwin Gonzalez hit his sacrifice fly to left field in the second inning. And one of the problems we have with this kind of a trip for Julia is everybody wants to talk to her on their way up there, so it might take her the rest of the night.
She can't go anywhere without that kind of attention.
She's so gracious to people. Tony Kemp is on deck. Marwin looks at it, and it's 2-0. These Astros hitters looking things over carefully. And Alex Myers' major league career, he's 1-3 with a 7.23 ERA. Now 3-0. Boston's leading 2-1 in the bottom of the seventh at Tampa Bay. Red Sox have really put things together, and they have built a 5.5 game lead over Toronto. The Blue Jays are leading the Yankees 3-0. They've played 6 in Toronto at Rogers Center. Foul back. So Marwin getting the green light. Unable to do a whole lot with that 3-0 pitch. The Astros this season have hit much better on the road than they have at home. That's laced. A high drive. Mike Trout way back on the warning track and right there in front of that Geico sign. He hauls it in for a very long out, number 2. That ball was hit hard. Our Bank of America League alerts will show you in the Tigers 6-0 lead over Kansas City. Justin Upton hit his 9th home run of the month, second most in the majors. Gaddis has 8. And Brad Ausmus has to be really thrilled with Upton coming alive for his club, which is 1 game behind the Blue Jays and a half game in front of the Orioles, a game and a half in front of the Astros, 2 in front of the Mariners.
It's a good offense the Tigers bring, obviously. But you add 1 extra guy swinging it very well, and it makes an enormous difference.
Tony Kemp struck out in the second inning. Escobar is camped on the grass at third, trying to take the bunt away from Kemp. Ball 1. And Mike Trout is well over into left center field. The Astros are hitting .235 at home this season, .255 on the road. Fouled out of the mitt. 1-1. Mike Scioscia's club trying hard for every win it could get here at the end of the season. Has 67 wins, 86 losses. Scioscia in his 17th season, the longest tenured manager in the majors. The only active manager with 1,000 wins with 1 club. Way outside. 2-1. Charles Nagy there at the base of the steps as the stopwatch. He's the pitching coach. Got to be pleased with last night's 2-0 shutout win. Ricky Nolasco went 7. 2 relievers combined on the 8-hitter. Andrew Bailey got saved. Mike Trout is back in center without number 3, and through 4 it's 2-1 Angels.
poll, and Fan Appreciation Day is coming up next week. So we want to know who you think the Astros' most colorful super fan is. Everyone's seen, we call the mustache guy, but Valentin, he's got the most votes, I think, right now. The Jose Altuve posse, who has the counting hit signs, or H-Town Wiggy, wears the huge clock around his neck. You see him at all Houston events. And I've made my way up. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid these guys for this, but I'm just kidding. I have no idea what to say right now, guys. I'm speechless about what's happening behind me, but we did get our picture, so
okay.
that was the goal. I made my way up here, found the back stairs.
Well,
I'm just gonna blush over here by myself.
I think you need security, Julia, with this crowd behind. No, they're nice guys.
These guys are great.
Yeah. Well, now, you've been nice enough to go all that distance up there. You've taken the photo. You've given them the priceless experience of a photo with Julia. What more can you do?
I don't even know. I'm blushing.
You've done it all.
I'm blushing.
Well, thank you for going up there.
Imagine doing all of that for people who love you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Is this what it was like to be you, Ash?
Yeah,
that's Ash.
I deal with that daily, Julia.
I'm gonna need some tips.
2-1 to Cliff Pennington. And that's a special moment for those guys that you took the time to go all the way up there. Meanwhile, Kevin Chapman and James Hoyt are warming up for Houston, so it appears that it might be a batter-by-batter situation here for Doug Fister. And what that means is the manager will decide after each batter whether he stays in or not, and that may not be the case, but he got out number one there on Pennington, so he stays in. Now there's the guy we've come to really like down through the years. One of many here, Ash.
I wonder if he's ever taken off in a breeze. It's got to be a lot of folks for Jose, right?
So those are the candidates.
H-Town Wiggy.
You decide. Very loyal fans, all of them. Yunel Escobar looks at ball one. Escobar has grounded out and struck out looking. Fister now with 3 punch-outs tonight. That's a grounder backhanded. Correa from the grass after the spin move takes care of out number 2. He is really moving around well tonight.
Yeah, he's really he's been dealing on that defensive side of the game. He sized that play up, enabling him to spin to his right on the 360 type play. Generally, you go the other way, but didn't even need to hump up on this throw.
Excellent play by Correa. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Angels. 1 run on 3 hits for the Astros. No errors in the game. Each club has left 3. Calhoun coming up now after getting a single in the 3rd inning is 1 for 2. And the curveball's tap fouler, strike 1 on Calhoun with Mike Trout on deck. And Trout is one of those players who will always be in the mind of the pitcher. Where is he? He's in the on deck circle. All right, 2 outs, nobody on. Let's make sure we get Calhoun. That kind of thinking. So that plays into Calhoun's knowledge that he should see pitches to hit here. And he took that one, and it's 0-2.
And Calhoun can be a dangerous player. We've shown him defensively in right field very good.
Calhoun's 28 years old. He's from Buckeye, Arizona. Went to Arizona State. An 8th round draft choice in 2010 by the Angels. Fouls it back. Seattle and Minnesota have played a couple with no score in Minnesota. Cleveland leads the White Sox 6-4. They're in the bottom of the 6th. Texas and Oakland start later. Calhoun takes, and it's 1-2. Cole Calhoun. Well, the Cubbies continue to roll, Ash.
They are clearly the best team in the game this year, but when the postseason comes, that best team, I'll even go so far as to say, often does not win it all. Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out for Chicago.
5-0 win today for Jake Arrieta over the Cardinals. Arrieta is 18-7 with a 2.85 ERA.
And he's not going to win a Cy Young this year. He's got a teammate that might pick it up.
Yeah. Well, the Cubs now have 98 wins, 55 losses. Line. Oh, diving play. Carlos Correa. Magnificent by Correa. He is putting on a show tonight. They love it in the upper deck. Robbing Calhoun to keep the game tight. 2-1 Angels.
Bottom of the 5th inning. Come bid a final farewell to Tal's Hill and be a part of the Astros history after the game or the games on Sunday the 25th and Wednesday the 28th. Fans will have a final opportunity to take a commemorative photo in front of Tal's Hill for only $30. All proceeds benefit the Astros Foundation. For more information, visit astros.com/Tal's Hill.
2-1, the Angels lead it. Strike one to Jason Castro. Leading off the home 5th inning. He singled to left in the 3rd. Slider is in, and it's no balls, 2 strikes for Alex Meyer. Teoscar Hernandez on deck. George Springer due up 3rd in the inning. Ooh, that one almost got Jason Castro.
Heat-seeking slider right there. Starts inside and then gets evil.
Sure did. Almost sent him tumbling. Chris Davinsky's warming up for Houston. Just a guess that he will start the 6th inning, but we'll wait and see. That's hit hard, but there's the 3rd baseman Escobar in the shift, taking care of out number 1. I don't think AJ would be warming up Davinsky if he didn't intend to bring him in.
That sounds logical. By the way, there's no justice in this game. Jason Castro breaks his bat, flares a hit to left field, and then hits this rocket right at the only guy on that side.
Yeah. Our fan cam is brought to you by GulloAuto.com. And some of the crowd here on this Friday night, they'll get fireworks after the game, weather permitting. A lot of rain during the day today. Hopefully it won't rain after the game. Here's Teoscar Hernandez. Ball one to him. He struck out in the third inning. So the Cubs, by shutting out the Cardinals, dealt St. Louis a setback in its effort to be the wild card team, or one of two wild card teams in the National League. 1-1. That's quite a race with the Mets and the Giants and the Redbirds. One hopper, Escobar. Two outs, Meyer. George Springer is next. He singled to right in the third. That's how close it is there. The Cardinals slip a game back, and then it's the Mets and Giants.
Yeah, the day started with Mets, Giants, Cards all tied, as you were talking about. And they've got a good race going on.
Could come down to the final day, Ash.
There's fans in St. Louis, a lot of really good fans involved in those teams.
Springer fouls it. There's strike one on George.
It's really easy to talk about the Cardinals fans. They've been there forever, but those Giants fans have rallied around that club for years now.
Sure have. Well, they've watched their club get 3 parades.
Yeah, that works pretty well.
It's probably part of their annual fall plan now.
Well, it's the biannual, but
okay, you're right.
Well, they're trying to take another shot this year.
They've been a weird team. Very bad since the All-Star break.
Somebody's suggesting, Brownie, that Tal's Hill ought to be awarded to you. Have you got a closet to
no.
take care of that?
No, that won't work, but thank you for the suggestion. Roll down it every morning.
Diane will love the gig.
Yeah. 3-1. Are you allowed to plant flowers on Tal's Hill?
If it's yours, you can do anything you want with it, Brownie.
Well, you know what they're going to do is they're going to cut the flagpole that's in play on Tal's Hill into sections and sell them. Simmons to his left. Throws him out. 3 ground ball outs in the 5th for Meyer, and it's 2-1 through 5 Angels. On Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run. The Houston Children's Charity. And by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected. It is James Hoyt coming out of the Houston bullpen. The Angels lead it 2-1. And Hoyt pitched once in Seattle, once in Oakland on the road trip. Takes over after Doug Fister goes 5, allowing 5 hits, 2 runs. Hoyt 1-1 with a 4.67 ERA, Ash.
Yeah, just 14 hits allowed in 17+ innings right now. The big number that jumps out at me is 5 homers allowed in those 17 innings. Lefties having a tough time.
Mike Trout is the first man up in the 6th inning. He's singled in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Hoyt's a 29-year-old rookie. There's ball 1 to Trout. Hoyt started his career in independent ball in 2011. And Atlanta signed him as a free agent, traded him to Houston along with Evan Gattis for Mike Fultonevich and a couple of other players. Rio Ruiz just made his debut the other day for Atlanta. And I think he was announced as a pinch hitter, and then the rain started falling and he never got to bat in that game. It was then stopped because of the rain. It was a rain shortened game. That's a heck of a debut for Rio Ruiz.
So technically he has never debuted.
Well, you know what? That's not right, because technically if you're in the box score, you debuted, even though you didn't play. 3-0. Crazy, isn't it? That happened to Larry Yount.
Robin's brother, huh?
Yeah. That's a 4-pitch walk to Trout. We go to Julia Morales.
Thanks, Brownie. As AJ starts to go to his bullpen here, Doug Fister going 5. But we saw Michael Feliz actually warming early in this one, and that's just kind of how things are going this time of year for the Houston Astros. AJ Hinch said, you know, I don't have the luxury of letting these starters kind of work their way out of trouble like I did earlier in the season. And that goes for every manager at this time of year, especially with the extra arms in the bullpen, but even more so when your team is in it and treating every game like a playoff game this time of year.
Brent Strom with arms folded, watching as Albert Pujols bats. He's hit the ball on the head twice. Line drive double to left, line drive out to left. Strike 1. Pujols very much a pull hitter, although the Astros play Teoscar Hernandez about 8 steps toward right center for him. Fister threw 76 pitches, 45 were strikes in his 5 innings, giving up 5 hits, 2 runs, walking 1, fanning 3. Runner breaks. Line drive over shortstop into left center field. Trout will continue to third base on the single by Pujols. And now it's 1st and 3rd, nobody out for the Angels.
This one a little more off the end of the bat of Pujols, so it drops rather than hang out there. But with Trout on the move, and he's been employing that running game much more here in the past couple of months. Just no way to stop that 1st and 3rd scenario.
C.J. Cron's the batter. He had the RBI double in the 2nd inning. He grounded out in the 3rd. That's 6 hits for the Angels now. Double play depth for Correa and Altuve in the 6th inning. Fouled away. Back to that Larry Yount story. Back in the 60s, Larry Yount came up to the big leagues with the Astros. He was warming up in the bullpen to come into the game for his major league debut, and his arm was bothering him a little bit. And then he was called into the game. When he got to the mound on the field, he warmed up some more, and his arm was killing him. So he couldn't pitch. And he never, ever faced a major league batter. Fly ball to shallow right. Could be trouble for the Astros. Here's Springer coming in. Long run. He makes the catch. That's out number 1 with Trout holding at 3rd.
Was it last night you brought up the range of George Springer? And for me, it's as good as anybody in the game. You just can't tell me that others get to balls that he doesn't. And again, you add in, factor in going up on walls and all, and he's as good as they come.
Oh, he is terrific. Wonder what his defensive WAR is, Ash.
I don't even want to look it up. I don't want to get angry right now. I'm getting ready to present you Towels Hill.
Okay. No, back to that Larry Yount story, though. So he was taken out with the arm injury before he faced a batter, and yet he was considered to have made his debut because he was called in from the bullpen. He warmed up. Even though he never threw a pitch, he was considered to have been in that game.
So if I have things straight, he's got a 0 ERA for his career.
That's right. That's exactly right. After that discussion, it's Andrelton Simmons batting. He's grounded to short and he struck out. And James Hoyt would love a double play ball. Nick Buss is on deck. That's ball one. James was saying today that as he was sent back, he made his major league debut and then sent back to AAA Fresno. He had learned that major league hitters were a little bit more discerning in what they swung at. Batting average by season has come up to .283 for Simmons after a .265 year last year. Slider fouled away, and he learned that pitches he would throw in AAA would get a swing, and in the major leagues they would not produce a swing. So he retooled his thinking when he went back to Fresno, and now he has a little bit different mindset on approaching major league hitters. They're not biting on some of these sliders off the plate now. Bunt, and he fouls it. 1-2.
Little safety squeeze from a guy that had 4 consecutive 2-hit games against Houston. So I guess everything's in play when you get to this stage of the year.
Sure looks that way. James Hoyt does some yoga sessions here before games. Stay all stretched out. Off the plate, Simmons not biting it. It's 2-2. Now Simmons had a big series here in July. You talked about the 2-hit games, and he had 2 hits in each of those 3-game series. Slowly rolled out to Correa, who hustles in, gloves it, fires, and out at first. That's out number 2, the run scoring to make it 3-1. Big play though by Correa, who's been all over this field tonight.
That is a wow play right there. And he's just steadily been making everything left, right, in, back. Yeah, the unfortunate thing here for Hoyt and company is that that little dribbler drives in a run. But the Astros shortstop is playing some serious hardball right now.
Had to be a perfect transfer to get him. And he went a long way for that one, and now 3-1 lead. Buss has one of those RBIs on a double in the second. He also has a walk in the fourth. Jammed on that one. He fouls it back. There's strike one. Buss was born in Southfield, Michigan. He had 19 major league at-bats with the Dodgers in 2013. Pujols advanced to second as Trout scored for the 116th time. Well, we took a look at the numbers last night on Trout and Altuve as MVP candidates. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Trout, with those 116 runs scored, has just fantastic numbers this year. 28 homers, 95 runs batted in, 316 average. Grounded foul, it's 1-2. MVP voters are going to be presented with a choice that's very difficult this season.
Yeah, you look at the WAR numbers. Mike Trout is easily out in front, but again, waiting the walk is a big part of that.
Altuve, of course, has had a magnificent year. Mookie Betts has had a superb season. Betts is surrounded by some top-notch hitters in that Boston lineup. Oh, close to a 2. If you're a voter, do you factor in, how many good hitters are around one candidate and another in a different lineup? Do you factor that in?
It's a valid question. you are doing so without realizing it, maybe, when a guy drives in a load of runs.
Well, that's very important. You're right. Sometimes the RBI leader in a particular season might have so many more men in scoring position than the guys who are contending for that lead. That should be taken into consideration.
And for me, RBIs are a big part of what makes me consider a guy as worthy of MVP consideration.
Sure. Fouled, and it's still 2-2 for James Hoyt. The days are dwindling down to a precious few, Ash.
Yeah, we're that finish line is in sight, and now it's the W's you have to pick up in the last 9 games, counting tonight.
Flared foul. Gurriel giving chase. Don't have a chance at it. We had been guessing, what, about 10 days ago, that we thought maybe 88 wins would be a playoff club this year in the American League.
I think that's the figure we've kind of honed in on. I don't know if it works or doesn't, but it seems like a logical figure.
There's Detroit up 8-1, so a pretty good shot for the Tigers to have win number 83 of the year.
If the Astros are to pick up 88 wins, they have to go 7-2, counting tonight's game.
They end the season in Anaheim.
And I think it was easy to kind of look at this final 10 and say, well, they've got 7 with the Angels. That should be favorable. Check out how tough it is.
Yeah, it's not a given that a club who's below a contending team in the standings is going to lose. Certainly, these players are so competitive. And thinking back to the Astros rebuilding time a few years ago, they desperately wanted to beat these contending clubs. That's a walk to Buss, second of the inning for Hoyt. 9-pitch at bat for Buss, or plate appearance.
Marvin Hudson didn't like it, but he should have.
Carlos Perez will be the batter. A 22-pitch inning so far for Hoyt. 2 walks and a single. Perez has grounded out twice. Diamondbacks lead the Orioles now 2-1. They're in the top of the 9th in Baltimore. This one off the mitt of Castro will allow the runners to advance on a wild pitch.
Yeah, we bring it up quite a bit about getting down in blocking position on the breaking balls. Here comes the slider. You just called it, and that's what comes. Well, we had a nice highlight on Max Stassi the other day, and we had seen him in a game the day before, and terrific form on blocking pitches.
That's the 93rd wild pitch for the Astros staff this season. Pennington's on deck. That's a swing, and it's 1-1 for Perez. The slider worked that time for James Hoyt. Blue Jays are leading the Yankees 7-0. They're in the top of the 8th inning in Toronto. It's 2 balls and a strike. Pat Neshek is warming up now for Houston. Francisco Liriano started that game for Toronto and shut out the Yankees for 6 innings. In for a strike. 2-2. he got him to swing and struck him out. 1 run scoring on 1 hit, 2 men left. A 27-pitch 6th inning for James Hoyt. And the Angels boost their lead to 3-1 in the 6th.
Of the 6th. Tonight's winning word in our Wanna Get Away sweepstakes is business, as in business class. Visit rootsports.com/wannagetaway, fill out the form, and use the winning word for a chance to win 2 round-trip tickets from Southwest Airlines. A new winning word every game this week, so watch and win. Brownie.
Thanks, Julia. Now the Astros trailing 3-1 come up in the home 6th inning. Yuli Gurriel is 0 for 2. Altuve and Correa to follow. Alex Meyer misses. There's ball 1. Meyer through 5 has allowed the Astros 3 hits and 1 run. He's walked 1. Has 4 strikeouts. Tap to third. Escobar reaching down. Throws to first. Offline. And that's safe at first base. Gurriel. Escobar had a difficult play. That ball goes out of play into the camera box, and that means an extra base for Gurriel.
Well, the single in E5 here presents you the same scenario as a leadoff double. And that leadoff double says you should be able to pick up a run in that inning, if not more. That barehanded effort oftentimes results in a poor throw as you get kind of a palm ball.
Bill Baptiste wound up with that one in the camera box. It's a hit for Gurriel and an error on Escobar, his 18th of the year. Jose Altuve is 0 for 2. Big situation here. Carlos Correa on deck. That's strike 1. Coming into this game, Altuve had a 20-point lead over the number 2 man in the batting race, Dustin Pedroia, 340 to 320. There's the comparative numbers of those 2 outstanding American League second basemen. Broken bat. Simmons. 1 out. What will it take for Altuve to win the batting title? A 20-point lead with 9 games to go. If Altuve goes 9 for 36 in the remaining 9 games, he will finish at 335.4. If he did that, Pedroia would need to go 22 for 36 to win a batting title, based on 4 at-bats per game.
Yeah, Altuve right now is very upset about 1 at-bat. This one that left him not only breaking his bat, but putting the ground ball on the left side of the infield, and that kept Gurriel at second.
Correa has a double, and another well-hit ball was caught by the right fielder, Calhoun. He's had a couple of those too, up and in. There's ball one.
That's more about losing balance than fear of this pitch hitting you. That's just a breaking ball that doesn't do its thing.
Bullpen is busy for the Angels. Mike Scioscia has gotten 5 1/3 innings from Meyer. Way outside. And he's warming up to Ellis Guerra now. 2-0 the count. Last time out, Meyer got his first career win Sunday against Toronto. He got 5 scoreless innings. Way outside, good stop by Perez. And it's 3-0 to Correa. For Alex Meyer, you know, a chance for 2 wins here in the month of September against 2 contending clubs would be putting him in a little bit higher esteem in the consideration for next year, Ash.
Yeah, you would think so. Get opportunities, take advantage, and you get more opportunities.
Ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Correa. We'll see if Scioscia stays with the young right-hander.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. 30 home run seasons for Astros of the past. Jeff Bagwell easily leads with a 9, and Berkman right there. Glenn Davis and Jimmy Wynn. Those were days back in the old Astrodome. Certainly for Jimmy Wynn back in the early configuration. That was enormous. Moises Alou also on the list. But yeah, you can look at that any way you want. Jeff Bagwell is the king.
Charles Nagy talks it over with Alex Meyer. Runners at first and second have 1 out. Evan Gattis will be the batter. He struck out and he walked. Of the 78 pitches, 45 have been strikes.
You know, when you got a club that's just quietly limping along, the offense not scoring many runs, it takes one big swing oftentimes.
Could this be the one? Marlon Gonzalez on deck. Ball 1. The Angels will go with right-hander Jolie Chacin here tomorrow night. Brad Peacock starts for Houston. It's a 6-10 start. 2-0 now. 6 straight balls for Meyer.
He felt like he might have had a strike right there, but looked like it likely missed away.
Now 3-0.
He thinks we've got a situation.
You assuming green light here for Evan?
I would, yeah, under the circumstances with him, yes. Now whether he takes advantage, we'll see.
Ball 4. Base is loaded. 1 out for Marlon Gonzalez. And a pitching change is coming. Ellis Guerra has had time to get loose. Mike Scioscia wanted to stay with Meyer a little bit longer, but he had back-to-back 4-pitch walks to Correa and Gattis, and now with the bases loaded, 1 out and a 2-run lead, Meyer comes out. 3-1 Angels. Back.
3-1 Angels, and we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with the Hispanic Heritage Street Fest presented by Fiesta. The Street Fest is tomorrow from 3 to 6 p.m. and includes great music, food trucks, and games. Visit Astros.com/Hispanic Heritage or call 1-877-9-ASTROS to get your ticket and join the Street Fest. Brownie?
Thanks, Julia. We look forward to that one tomorrow. Final Saturday of the season at home. These fans want postseason. Deolis Guerra is 2-0. His ERA 3.16. Ash.
27 years of age, out of Venezuela. Big guy, 6'5" and 245 is what they have him listed at. Just his second year in the big leagues now. And he's been putting up some work for the Angels. 51 in the third innings. Well, pretty good numbers. 47 hits allowed, just 5 home runs. A big assignment right now.
Marwin Gonzalez, the batter, with the bases loaded and 1 out for Guerra. Marwin hit a sac fly to left, hit a deep drive caught on the warning track by Mike Trout in center in the 4th inning. 176 with the bases loaded in his career this season. 3 for 10 with 5 runs batted in. Third baseman Escobar in at the edge of the grass. In the dirt, ball 1. The Astros are 0 for 4 with men in scoring position. They do have an RBI on a sac fly. That was the one provided by Marwin. And they would take another one here. A hit would work better. They're down by 2, and it would really be hurtful to their cause if they did not score at all here in the 6th inning. Taken for ball 2.
Yeah, can you find one in the heart of the plate and spank it appropriately?
Well, it's an unusual 6th inning. The Angels have thrown 10 straight balls at this point. And 1. 81 miles per hour from Deolis Guerra.
Trying to find one that you're looking for, and then they go off speed and leave you out in front.
Bases loaded. Guerra pitching for the 5th time this year against the Astros. First 3 outings for him were scoreless, and then he gave up a run here at Houston July 23rd on an RBI double by Carlos Gomez. Now time is called. Guerra began his career with New York. He was traded to Minnesota and then signed as a free agent with Pittsburgh. He pitched 10 times last year as a Pirate. He's from Venezuela. A.J. Hinch hoping for a big delivery here from Marwin. He fouls it. It's 2-2.
Again on the 2-1 off speed. And Marwin just kind of waving out in front. You figure when you get 2-0 and 2-1, you're going to get that fastball to hit, but that splitter really changes things.
Guerra retired both batters he faced in his last appearance Tuesday night, but on the previous homestand, he gave up 4 runs in 4 innings. It's a full count. The appeal went over to third base. James Hoy with the check swing call. 3-2 to Marwin Gonzalez.
Well, that splitter's the pitch. He threw it on the 2-0 and the 2-1. Will he come back on the 3-2? Really nice job by Marwin laying off.
It was.
You're swinging at arm speed and tough to lay off.
This crowd is alive in anticipation of something big from Marwin Gonzalez. Ground ball first goes foul, and the at bat continues.
That's your favorite Bee Gees song?
Well, it's a favorite song for A.J. Hinch and his club right now in his pennant race. You know that. Shot up the middle, into center field. Gurriel scores. Here's Correa. Tie ball game. Marlon Gonzalez with a great at bat.
The only thing that could have made this larger right here, and it is enormous for Marlon, is to have Evan Gattis be able to get to third base. He had to stop at second with Mike Trout charging hard, but those 2 runs to get you back even in the game, just enormous at this stage.
What a big hit by Marlon Gonzalez. Now 7 runs batted in with the bases loaded this year for Marlon. Back to square one for the Astros. Pinch hitter Tyler White is batting for Tony Kemp, who was 0 for 2. Tyler's been doing a great job pinch hitting. 4 for 11 this season as a pinch hitter with 2 runs batted in. And ball 1.
Yeah, that loss of weight, getting in better shape overall, has made a big difference in Tyler White.
4 pinch hit doubles for Tyler White this year. Foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the beliefs this year about Tyler White is that he might be better against right-hand pitching than against lefties.
Those 4 pinch hit doubles for Tyler has set a new club record for a rookie. We have Mike Warren in the bullpen now, just starting for the Angels. White looks at a pitch in the dirt. Will Harris and Chris Davinsky are in the bullpen for Houston. 2-1. White in those 13 pinch hit plate appearances, 5 for 12, as you saw in the graphic perhaps. And here in September overall hitting .300 with 5 doubles, 3 runs batted in, and an .883 OPS. Strong finish for Tyler White. That one comes up and in. And it's 3-1, and these Angel pitchers consistently have fallen behind the Astros hitters in this inning.
No surprise then that the Astros have put a couple on the board.
Now looking for the lead. Up the middle, they'll get the lead. Gattis around third, coming to the plate. It's a 4-3 ball game on the RBI pinch single by White. He does it again.
The value of Tyler White has just gone through the roof. Even if it's only as a bench player, when you can be effective as a pinch hitter, great stuff. And that's solid base hit. Enough to get Evan Gattis home and keep this rally moving.
Runner at first for Tyler White. After he delivers hit number 3 of the inning for the Astros. He's done his job. Now Charles Nagy talks with Guerra, who's staying in with Jake Marisnick pinch running at first. White has just been terrific in these clutch pinch situations this year.
He had hit such a funk after that great start to the season. And I don't know what the thoughts on him were, but right now those thoughts have to be, this guy is valuable.
Jason Castro is 1 for 2. Oscar Hernandez on deck. Strike one. Castro, the 7th Astro to bat here in the 6th inning. Tyler White with a smile. It's an awfully big hit.
You guys cold down there, or just trying to stay incognito?
Astro takes it. It's 1-1. The Astros have the lead for the first time tonight. They trailed 2-0 in the middle of the 2nd. And 3-1. And in this inning, they parlayed the infield hit and error. Gurriel leading it off. And then 2 walks, a 2-run single by Marwin Gonzalez to tie it, and a White pinch single to grab the lead. Diving stop, but not, and out. It's thrown away, and another run's going to score as Marwin comes home. And now Marisnick gets to third base, and the Astros tack on another run. 5-3 Houston. Long got his mitt on it, but then the ball trickled away, and it was thrown away. Going to be a single for Castro.
Yeah, it's that throwing error that creates the run. And that was not even close. Really nice play to keep the ball in the infield. Looked like it might create an out and keep a run off the board, but when it's all said and done, not only does a run score, but Marisnick goes to third.
The error was the 5th of the year by Cron. It's 5-3 Houston. This crowd really energized by the happenings in the 6th inning. We'll be right back. And we'll keep you up to date on happenings in this wild card race. The Orioles now have tied the game with the Diamondbacks. They've scored a run in the bottom of the 9th to tie it at 2. Blue Jays winning 9-0 over the Yankees. The other game that's the most important is that Tigers game. They lead at 8-1 over the Royals, top of the 9th inning. The Tigers have a 1.5 game lead on the Astros. The Astros are a half game behind Baltimore, or 1 game behind Baltimore rather. Now here's Hernandez batting, and the 3rd pitcher of the night, Mike Morin, taking over for the Angels. Hernandez is 0 for 2, runners at 1st and 3rd now, and 1 out. Around to bunt, it gets by the catcher, and here comes Marisnick. It's 6-3. Castro into second base with Marisnick scoring.
I don't know what happened with Carlos Perez. Sometimes when a hitter turns to bunt, the bat will get in the way of the eyesight of the catcher. I don't know that that's the case. Maybe Perez thought the pitch was going to hit the hitter, but when it's all said and done, you take a pass ball right there anytime.
And now a 3-run lead. 5 runs coming home in this 6th inning for the Astros. Astro went to second. In the dirt. Now 2-0 as these Angels pitchers have struggled to throw strikes here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, you get that pitching staff scuffling to throw strikes, and that's when you take advantage.
And pass ball is one of the mistakes in this inning. There have been 2 errors as well. So 3 fielding miscues. Popped up now. Perez going to the on-deck circle. Leaves his way for the catch. Retiring Hernandez. 2 outs. Morin will face the 9th Astro hitter in the inning. George Springer. He's 1 for 3. Well, this is clutch for the Astros, who were shut out last night. Trailed 3-1 coming to the bottom of the 6th inning tonight, and now putting together this kind of a rally. 4 hits, 2 walks, and with the help of 2 Angel errors and a pass ball, it's George Springer 1 for 3.
Little slow ground ball hit by Gurriel to third to start the whole thing, and there was also the error on the play.
Upstairs, ball 1. Astros 11-2 against the Angels this season. Mike Trout backing in center. Makes the catch. The Astros bat around in a 5-run 6th. They have grabbed the lead 6-3.
Astros with the lead now. And it's time to announce the winner of our Chevy Stroh poll. We asked you, because it's Fan Appreciation Day coming up, we asked you who is the Astros' most colorful super fan. And Valentin with 45%. He's got the awesome mustache. You've seen him. He wins tonight. But H-Town Wiggy coming in second, and the Jose Altuve posse coming in third with 22%. There he is. There he is.
He goes back to the Carlos Lee days, Julia. You remember Valentin during those days of El Caballo. And there's the tweet from Kim.
They are colorful.
Yeah. Why am I not on this poll, Kim
Is
says.
that real?
That's real.
Wow.
And Kim's arm.
It's dedication.
Yeah.
Love it.
Will Harris comes in now. It's 6-3. The Astros lead it. The 7th inning begins with Cliff Pennington batting. He's 0 for 2. Defensive changes for Houston. There's ball 1. Jake Marisnick staying in after pinch running for White. He's in center as we look at Harris. 1 and 2, 12 saves and 15 opportunities. A 2.24 ERA this month. A 1.04 ERA. And he gets a swing from Pennington. So Marisnick is in center field, and it's Teoscar Hernandez moving to left. Pennington 0 for 2 tonight. Jake pinch ran and scored a big run. Curveball gets strike 2 for Will Harris. James Hoyt can be the winning pitcher in 1 inning. He allowed 1 hit and 1 run, walking 2, fanning 1. 29,429 the paid attendance tonight. Detroit beat Kansas City 8-3. The Astros need a win to stay a game and a half out in the race for the second wild card spot. Toronto shut out the Yankees 9-0. Blue Jays right now are in the lead in that wild card race. A game in front of Detroit for the first wild card spot. Pennington strikes out.
Yeah, Will does it with the over-the-top curveball. Had a couple of swings and misses in that at bat with that pitch.
Will at Oakland pitched twice. He had a hitless inning in the Astros 4-2 win and another hitless inning in their 6-5 win. Facing Escobar now. Yunel 0 for 3 in this game. Strike 1 for Harris. Doug Fister went the first 5, allowing 2 runs. Off the plate for a ball. It's 1-1. Baltimore got 1 run in the 9th to tie it and send the game to the 10th. Arizona 2, Baltimore 2, and a big one at Camden Yards. Pedro Alvarez his 22nd homer. That came in the 8th inning. And Matt Wieters hits a tying shot, his 15th of the year, off Daniel Hudson in the 9th. 2-1 to Escobar. Texas and Oakland have played 3, and there's no score in Oakland. 3-1. Seattle leads 2-0 at Minnesota. They're in the middle of the 5th. Boston down Tampa Bay 2-1. Red Sox looking very strong. Strike makes it a full count now.
Well spotted pitch right here. The fastball, knees right toward the outside edge. Second time on the night, Yunel Escobar is taking a little foolhardy walk toward first base.
Well, this one is not foolhardy this time. It's legitimate for him, and he gets the 1-out walk from Harris. 4th walk for Astros pitching. Calhoun follows. He's 1 for 3. He was absolutely pilfered on that Correa diving catch of his line drive headed for center field in the 5th inning. Magnificent play. Correa's just been superb tonight at shortstop. The Boston win gives the Red Sox 90 victories. Cleveland also won over the White Sox 10-4. The Tribe has won 90. There's strike 1. The Rangers playing tonight have 90 wins. It's quite a race for the best record in the American League and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. No such race in the National League, where the Cubs have 98 wins and the second best total is 89 by Washington. 1-1. Arizona failed to score in the top of the 10th. Baltimore's batting in a 2-2 game in the bottom of the 10th. Harris throws to first.
Yeah, I don't know if Joe Madden said so to his players in spring training with the Cubs, but what he might have said, the way things have gone, is we're going to go out from day one, dominate, and take it right to the finish line. That's the way they've played.
Boy, they have. They're not letting up at all. Calhoun falls behind 1-2. Mike Trout's on deck.
Again, right back to that over-the-top curveball. Effective this evening.
Big at bat here because if Calhoun reaches, Trout represents the potential tying run. Foul tip. That's a strikeout. Astro holding on for strikeout number 2 for Harris.
Follow Astros Baseball live with MLB.com's At Bat app. Yes. Stay up to the moment with Game Day, StatCast Live, highlights, and more, even at the game with Minute Maid Park's new Wi-Fi. Download the app for your phone or tablet today.
The Angels have AJ Ochter warming up in their bullpen. Mike Trout has a single and a walk. He has scored a run tonight. Fouled away by Trout. There's strike 1 to Mike. Nationals are leading 5-4 at Pittsburgh. They're in the bottom of the 8th right now. Fly ball right field. Springer. He puts it away to end the Angels' 7th. No runs, no hits, and a man left. 6-3 Houston.
Park this Sunday as they take on the Angels. 20,000 fans will receive a limited edition Carlos Correa Topps baseball card presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Ronnie.
Thanks, Julia. That's a nice date. Trey Hellman talks it over with Carlos Correa. All smiles on the Houston bench now. After fighting from behind with a 5-run 6th inning to grab this 3-run lead. The Astros come up in the 7th against AJ Ochter. He'll be pitcher number 4 for the Halos in 23 games. No decisions, a 3.27 ERA.
How about that? 7 stints with the Angels this year. There's no way he could settle in anywhere.
7? Have you heard of 7?
I don't know that I ever have. There's a hotline going on between the two clubs.
He keeps his bags packed. Yuli Gurriel is 1 for 3. He began that 5-run rally with the infield roller for a hit and then continued to second on the error by Escobar on the throw. It's 2-0. Alex Bregman was so effective in that number 2 spot in the lineup. Gurriel has taken over since the Bregman hamstring injury. He'll be followed by Altuve and Correa in the Astros 7th. And it's 3-0. Luke Gregerson warms up for Houston. Ball 4, another 4-pitch walk. There have been 3 of those here in the 6th and 7th by Angel relievers.
Start it up any way you can.
Jose Altuve is 0 for 3 in this one. .339 his current batting average. Showing body, looks at a ball. Altuve is only the 5th second baseman in Major League history with 3 200-hit seasons. And he has 3 consecutively. Simmons gets it to second. That's spectacular. And Pennington turns it into a 6-4-3 double play. Magnificent play by Simmons.
He's about as slick as they come there. And he works on this stuff. You watch the pregame stuff, and he'll work on the glove shuffles and all that sort of thing. Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to name the best, maybe best 3 defensive shortstops in the game right now. There are some really good ones.
Yeah. Carlos Correa looks at ball 1. That's the 14th double play grounded into by Altuve. He's had some tough luck to an extent here in September. Ball 1. Correa has a double and a walk. He has scored 2 runs. Gives him 75 runs scored for the year. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. They're in the 11th in Baltimore. Diamondbacks 2, Orioles 2. Trout back in center field to end the 7th. 6-3 Houston, and here is some kind of a double play against Altuve. 6th, 6-3. Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders, showing you defensive WAR. Carlos Correa 0.6, ranked 15th behind Francisco Lindor. Jose Altuve 0.4, ranked 11th at his position behind Ian Kinsler. George Springer 0.6, ranked 4th among outfielders behind Mookie Betts. We do not completely accept defensive WAR, do we, Ash?
I don't. No, there's too much subjectivity in putting things together on that. But and furthermore, I do not accept Jose Altuve being ranked, what did you say, 14th in the league?
I think it was 11th.
11th.
Luke Gregerson, the pitcher. There's strike one.
That doesn't work for me. But then I get to watch the guy all the time.
Well, and that's part of it. Pujols is 2 for 3. Gregerson in as pitcher number 4 for Houston. Will Harrison 1 inning, allowed no hits, no runs, had a walk and 2 strikeouts. 1-1 because you know, from what we've heard about defensive WAR, it favors outfielders over infielders, and that makes some sense in terms of runs saved. That's a fair ball. Pujols with his 3rd hit of the night.
He can flat out still hit, can he? Not going to get many doubles, though, and that's why I said I think in the end he may hit more home runs than doubles on his career. He's close, about 10 apart right now. And Luke Gregerson, he's really been good. 2.93 the ERA in 56 outings. Right-hand hitters have had next to no luck against him.
Wow, 119. That is hard to equal. C.J. Cron has an RBI double in 3 at-bats. Strike one on the slider, but back to defensive WAR. Let's say an outfielder makes a great play in the gap, makes a catch. He would be preventing a double, theoretically. And Cron is 0 for 10 with 6 strikeouts against Gregerson. If an infielder makes a terrific play, he would theoretically be preventing a single. So the advantage would go to the outfielder in terms of run save. That's out to right center field, and that's going to be in. Here's Marisnick getting it back in towards second, and Altuve with the throw with a catch and not in time. On a relay from Correa, Cron is able to beat the play for a double, and that will bring the potential tying run to the plate with nobody out.
A couple of right-hand hitters crossing up the numbers here in this inning. And this is just well placed. Yeah, guys that can go get it with the best of them right there, but no shot.
Altuve put the tag on, but the call is safe.
Well, these days, keep that tag on a guy.
Simmons has runners at second and third, nobody out. He's 0 for 3. Correa robbed him in the 6th inning. Strike one on the slider. And another aspect that we understand about defensive WAR is that it really does not factor in the shifts. So it's hard to buy in a defensive statistic that does not factor in the shift. But it's debatable. Popped up on Gonzalez, and was right off the end of the bat. That's 1 out. We promised it earlier in the game, and it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Well, you're looking at the 15th best shortstop in the league, huh?
Right.
I wonder what that would have looked like if he was one of the leaders. And that. Yeah, I hate to get sarcastic about that, but that guy's really good.
In the Angel bullpen, 2 pitchers are warming up. Corey Rasmus and Jose Valdez. Correa's had quite a game tonight with the glove, and he has scored 2 runs. Nick Buss rolls one. Here's a runner coming to the plate. Pujols. Altuve down on a knee. Takes care of out number 2. That makes it 6-4. Buss picking up his 2nd run batted in of the night, 8th of the year, to make it a 2-run ball game with a runner at third now. Cron advancing also on that ground out.
If you can hold a club to 1 run in an inning where the first 2 guys hit the balls that Pujols and Cron came up with to start the frame. I think you've done a really good job, and right now Luke has a chance to make that happen.
Yes, he does. We'll get a pinch hitter now. Ji-Man Choi being announced as a pinch hitter for Carlos Perez, who was 0 for 3. Here's Mike Scioscia, a left-handed hitter. Well, he's actually a switch hitter, but he does not have an at-bat right-handed this year. Hitting 170, 5 homers, 12 runs batted in, 0 for 8 as a pinch hitter. Angels now have out-hit the Astros 8-7 in this game. The Angels have made 2 errors and another pass ball. They have left 6 men on base. Ball 1 to Choi. I think the concept of WAR is excellent, trying to quantify a player with his total contributions offensively and defensively to a club. 2-0. The other thing that's noble about it is something that gives people a chance to compare players down through the eras with a single number. In other words, you could compare Babe Ruth with Mike Trout with WAR.
I'd like to see Ozzie Smith get compared with Omar Vizquel.
Yeah,
because that's an unwinnable battle. My eye says Vizquel may be the slickest I've ever seen.
Well, Trout is the major league WAR leader with 10. 3-1 to Choi. We saw Mookie Betts and Jose Altuve on that list, and actually that will be viewed very carefully by MVP voters. Those WAR numbers are pretty popular in the baseball writing community. 3-2. It's one tool, but the writers won't stop with that.
Yeah, there's that annual debate. Is it best player or is it most valuable player on a winning team?
Right. He started, and yeah, the Astros got the call of a swing, and that is a strikeout of Choi. 1 run scoring on 2 hits with a runner stranded at third. It's 6-4 Houston in the 8th.
With Andre Dawson, one of the game's great players 20 years ago, and his final major league home run. One Bill Brown called this long ball by Andre Dawson. He was a feared player, just intense and loaded with talent, and he could flat play the game.
Such a nice guy, Ash, and
Yeah.
I know you got a chance to know him a little bit. I did an interview with him one time, a long-form interview in the studio. I don't think he had any cartilage left in his knees by the time he finished playing. He just gritted his teeth and went out there so many times.
Played the game hard, played it right, and boy, he played it so well. Just one of those guys, I think, as an opposing player, you tended to watch Andre Dawson.
Just a magnificent player, and what a physical specimen. That Montreal Expos outfield was something to remember with him.
You happen to remember that call? Or seeing the home run?
Yeah, I don't remember what I said, but I remember the game. Evan Gattis was strike one. Yeah, it was one of those, because he's such a great player.
Yeah.
Rasmus, Corey is the brother of Colby Rasmus of the Astros. He's 0-2 with a 5.79 ERA. Just came off a groin injury last Friday from the disabled list. The catcher is Gratterall. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Evan Gattis. He's walked twice tonight. Juan Gratterall in there to do the receiving. 2-1. Carlos Perez leaving for the pinch hitter Choi, who really seemed to be nonplussed by that call of a swing for a strikeout to end the top of the inning. Now the Astros are warming up their closer, Ken Giles, and the Angels have a left-hander, Egg, warming up as well. Pitch a ball, and it makes it 3-1.
I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen Jet Bandy, who a catcher who played well against the Astros when we've seen him earlier in the season.
Foul back. It's 3-2. Kendall Graveman of Oakland has a perfect game going against Texas. We're going to check on that, get an update. He had it going through 5 innings. Now the Rangers, yes, that is still the case. Rangers have not scored through 5, and that's a strikeout looking on Gattis.
Cubs do not have a day off this week, neither do the Astros. High drive to left field. Bagwell watches it go, and this is number 2 of the game for him. This one further out toward left center over the 379 sign for number 20 and number 400 in his career. 400 homers for Jeff Bagwell.
Earlier we were talking about Craig Biggio.
And Jim DeShays and I witnessed that special moment. Number 400 for Jeff. Wound up with 449. There's Marwin Gonzalez. And the ball went to Marwin. He's driven in 3 tonight. His 2-run single in the 6th inning, and that great at bat really helped to turn this game around. Still 3 more outs to go for the Astros to win it. It's 2-0. That Jeff Bagwell career, something that we hope will be memorialized in the National Baseball Hall of Fame next July in Cooperstown.
You know, you were able to call the games of some awfully good players through those years.
Oh, we were fortunate, weren't we? To have those guys come through here, the Killer Bees. I thought Moises Alou was certainly one of the best clutch hitters. I don't know if you have a better candidate in your lifetime, but you know, at his peak, he was among the best.
Yeah, there was so much talk about the other guys, and deservedly so, but Moises, I don't know if he was any, let's just say he deserved to be in that lineup because he made it so good.
I thought what he did that was so spectacular was he would get clutch hits off the best pitchers in the game.
Well, yeah. And I guess Biggio and Bagwell did the same thing. Lance Berkman. I think of that group, and you had Morgan Ensberg for a period of time was so good, and Richard Hidalgo. Bobby Abreu might have been really fun to watch for years in an Astros uni.
Yeah. 209 for Jake Marisnick, who came as a pinch runner. This is his first at bat. 5 homers, 19 runs batted in. His glove in the game can be a difference maker in the late innings. That's ball 1. And typically, as things tighten down here and go into the final days of the races and then on into postseason, managers really tend to rely more on their best defensive players with the lead and play for 1 run more than they normally would earlier in the regular season. Marwin draws the throw.
Well, you've got that expanded roster where you can afford to make a few more changes. Jake is one of those naturals to have in there late in the ball game, if not right from the start defensively.
Well, this Astros team really has a nice chemistry. Runner takes off, and it's foul back. Marlin was on his way. 1 ball, 1 strike.
What does he not do this year?
Yeah, legitimate question. Marlin's been a key performer. A.J. Hinch has used him liberally throughout the season. He has 460 at bats. So you can count him as an everyday player almost. This is the 134th game for Marwin Gonzalez. Trout in center field, plays it on a bounce. A hit for Marisnick, and it's 1st and 2nd, 1 out as Jake comes through.
Jake took a lot of extra BP today and maybe paying off right away.
There's a trip to the mound by Mike Scioscia. Well, looks as if Rasmus will be coming out here. That's it for Corey. Leaving with runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 out. They go to the lefty. With Castro due up next, and it's 6-4 Houston.
Astros LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros LLC.
Well, the Angels and the Astros are in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 6-4 Houston. Cody Ige, a left-hander, coming in. He is pitcher number 6 for the Angels. It's lefty on lefty with Jason Castro batting. Lefty's hitting .263 against Ige, who's been with the Marlins and the Angels this season.
Only season in the big leagues, and just his 16th major league outing.
He's 25 years old, from Sioux City, Iowa. He went to the University of Louisville, and the Rangers drafted him in the 15th round in 2013. 2 men on for Castro, who's 2 for 3. Breaking pitch for ball 1. He spent some time on the disabled list with a broken finger this year. Kendall Graveman of Oakland is perfect through 6 against Texas. 0-0. Bouncer to second. Here's the throw from Pennington, and the relay comes from Simmons over to Cron for a 4-6-3 double play. We go to the 9th inning. It's 6-4 Houston. by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Let's go to Baytown on the Hartman Bridge.
It's nice looking.
Gorgeous bridge. 6-4, the Astros lead the Angels. We go to the 9th inning. Ken Giles, the Astros closer, comes in. Luke Gregerson in 1 inning, allowed 2 hits and a run with no walks and a strikeout. Giles is 13 for 17 in saves.
Yeah, shooting for big number 14, and he's been locked down. Slider has been close to unhittable. When you look at his strikeout numbers, 96 and 62 and 2 1/3 innings, you're counting just about 14 per 9. That's ridiculous.
Well, he faces Pennington leading it off here in the 9th inning. Pennington 0 for 3 tonight. Escobar and Calhoun to follow. If Giles has a 1-2-3 inning, he does not have to face Trout. That's some incentive. Otherwise, he faces Trout representing the tying run. There's strike 1. Each club with 8 hits. The Angels have 2 errors. The Astros have none. 7 men left for Los Angeles, 5 for Houston. Laced into right field. Pennington has a leadoff single.
That was not the game plan.
Not at all. Now it's Escobar. Escobar's 0 for 3 with a walk. Giles last time out when he got save number 13 at Oakland on Tuesday gave up a hit and 2 walks and was able to get out of that inning with scoreless baseball to protect the lead for Houston. Escobar trying to continue this Angel rally. Calhoun on deck. And it's strike 1.
Well, Yunel Escobar was going to try to preempt a Mike Trout shot at tying this game. He was taking the swing himself.
21 double plays hit into. 27% of the time he's delivered. 1-1. In that 2-1 10-inning win Tuesday night with Giles coming in, he struck out the first man he faced. Then it was walk, single, walk. So bases loaded, 1 out. He got Jake Smolinski on a pop-up, and he struck out Joey Wendell to end it. That's a strike. The hitter did not get time called. He asked for it too late, and Marvin Hudson didn't grant it. So it's 1-2.
You wonder, did a couple of early trips toward first base tonight factor in there? That is too late, though.
Yeah.
Got Giles already starting his move to the plate. No way you give that.
Foul ball. And of course, the umpire does not have the hitter standing there to frame the strike zone.
Yeah.
So it's up to him to decide what that strike zone is without the hitter there. That's hit to left field, and that's hit well to left field. That is a tie ball game. A 2-run homer for Yunel Escobar, and it's 6-6 in the 9th. 5 homers for Escobar, 38 runs batted in.
Talking about that unhittable slider, that one got hit. Not the location that Ken Giles had in mind.
Now, not only is the game tied, but with nobody out, it'll be Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols due up next. Escobar delivers the big blow. Calhoun is 1 for 4. Ball 1. Giles had saves in each of his last 3 outings. Had a blown save and a loss here against the Texas Rangers September 13th. Coming in with a 2-1 lead in the 9th inning. Gets a swing there from Calhoun. And it's 1-1. Giles has allowed 8 home runs this season. He's in his 63rd inning. That's in the air, and here comes Marisnik. 1 out. Trout will follow. The Angels have won 4 times when they've trailed after 8 innings. Trout is 1 for 3 with a walk. He has scored a run. Now the Astros will have Hernandez, Springer, and Gurriel due up in the bottom of the 9th. It's the 19th blown save of the year for Houston. It's ball 1. With that, Ramirez and Valdez are warming up for the Angels. It's 2-0 to Trout. Three balls, no strikes to Mike Trout. Diamondbacks 2, Orioles 2, middle of the 12th in Baltimore. Nationals 5, Pirates 5, top of the 10th in Pittsburgh. Trout draws a 4-pitch walk. He's aboard for Pujols with 1 out in the inning. 5th walk of the night for Astros pitching.
Mentioned that running game of Mike Trout. It has picked up in the second half, and maybe not with Pujols at the plate, but might see a little running from Mike Trout.
Trout has 26 steals and 32 attempts. Pujols has 3 hits and a line out to left field tonight. 1 for 3 lifetime against Giles. Trout takes off, big jump, and they won't make a play on him. There's strike 1.
That was a case of catching Giles. Just Trout 1 step before Giles even moved. Right there, maybe 2 steps. And alertly, Castro doesn't even bother to throw.
That'll open up first base and lead to the intentional walk for Pujols now. And C.J. Cron will bat with runners at first and second and 1 out. This is the 5th intentional walk this season for Pujols. Now, Trout has a shot at the 30-30 club. He has 27 steals and 28 homers. Now 2 men on for the Angels. Cron has a pair of doubles tonight and a run batted in. Cron has grounded into 9 double plays. The Rangers left fielder, former Astro Carlos Gomez, broke up the perfect game bid in the 7th inning. Kendall Graveman of Oakland. Strike on the slider. Andrelton Simmons is on deck. Mariners lead the Twins 8-1. They're in the bottom of the 7th.
No time to forget Trout at second either.
That's strike 2. Trout can really control the game, can he? With all of his abilities, he can make a tremendous catch, steal a base, hit a home run.
He's got all the tools. Talk about genuine 5-tool players.
Ooh, close pitch. 1-2.
Slider has just not been able to come through here in the inning.
Still a 1-2 count. Did you see that baseball team on the field, the 18 and under U.S. team? There's Chris Davinsky warming up during batting practice tonight, Ash.
Yeah.
Somebody asked Max Stassi, because he was on that same team when he was 18 or younger, and he said Mike Trout failed to make that team.
That's bad evaluation.
Looping single into center field will score Trout to give the Angels the lead, 7-6. A broken bat RBI single by Cron.
Wow. You don't always have to hit them hard. Broken bat, little flare, protecting the strike zone, and then Mike Trout from second base. He gets the good read, and he's going to make sure he scores.
3 runs for the Angels here in the 9th. They're up by 1. Brent Strom coming out with Davinsky and the bullpen warming up. Simmons will be the batter. Pujols went to second on that RBI single. Well, 3 hits and 2 walks, one of those intentional in the inning off Giles. And the Angels have the upper hand again in this game. Crazy September back and forth affair, with Escobar tying it with a 2-run homer, and then with nobody out, that meant the big boys in the middle of the lineup got to hit. And Trout and Pujols both drawing walks. Trout scoring the go-ahead run. A single by Cron. That moves it along to Simmons now. Simmons is 0 for 4. Now Michael Feliz is getting loose for the Astros. He was warming up much earlier in this game. The appeal goes to first. So that's rule to swing. Strike 1 on Simmons. Nick Buss is on deck. One and one. In the dirt, this kicks away from Castro, and the runners both move up a base. Wild pitch.
Body in the air, neither knee down to the ground, trying to catch it with the mitt.
Rangers now have gotten 3 in the top of the 7th. They lead the Athletics 3-0 in the middle of the 7th inning. After Graveman had Again, perfect through 6. The infield comes in now. It's 3-1 to Simmons. That pitch count 28 for Giles. May very well be the last batter he faces. Try to keep him in play for tomorrow night. In for strike 2. Full count to Simmons. Final in 3-2. The Orioles rallied to win it in the 12th from the Diamondbacks. So now both Detroit and Baltimore have won tonight. And Houston would need to come back and win this one to stay a game and a half out in the wild card race. And a game behind Baltimore in that race. That's a ball to load the bases now. And here comes A.J. Hinch. Pitching change after the 3rd walk of the inning for Giles. The inning started with a Pennington single, followed with an Escobar homer, then a Calhoun fly ball, 2 walks, an RBI single by Cron, and now another walk to Simmons. And Phillies will be coming in with a score 7-6. Angels back at home. Angels with Michael Feliz warming up have loaded the bases to try to get more on the board with 1 out of the inning. You see the story in that game with Marwin Gonzalez having the big at bat in the 6th inning when the Astros got 5 to take a 6-3 lead. Now the Angels have come storming back to have the 7-6 lead, and they're still going, looking for more off Michael Feliz. He's 8-1 with a 4.48 ERA. Ash.
Well, he could use a ground ball right now, get a double play to get out of this frame. That would be the best case scenario.
Infield is in. Nick Buss, the batter. Buss has had quite a night of it. 2 runs batted in, 1 for 2 with a pair of walks. Who holds the runner at 3rd? It's Cron at 2nd. It's Simmons at 1st with 1 out. That bounces for ball 1. Buss is the 8th Angel to bat here in the 9th inning. The Astros batted around in the 6th. Feliz worked a scoreless inning last night in the Angels' 2-0 win. He gave up a hit to Andrelton Simmons. He retired Buss on a fly ball to right field last night. It's 2-0. Gratterall's on deck. Feliz is 4th strikeouts among American League relievers with 93. He could use one here. He gets a foul ball. That makes it 2-1. Michael, 23 years old. He had just a brief bit of seasoning last year, 5 games in the majors. He's gotten a lot more this year. In for a strike. It's 2-2.
Picking away at the outside corner. Looked like Jason Castro wanted that pitch up. Doesn't seem like what you'd be looking for. Yeah, it's a little awkward with the infield in, but you can still get the double play.
Now a full count. Eleven hits now for the Angels, 8 for the Astros. He gets a foul tip strikeout. 2 down.
Well, there's that heat up, and it does result in the strikeout.
Now Rafael Ortega will pinch hit for Gratterall. Ortega was in the lineup last night, going 0 for 3 with a walk, playing right field. Pennington on deck as Ortega strolls toward the batter's box with a .210 average. 1 homer, 10 runs batted in. He's had 162 at bats. As a pinch hitter, he's 3 for 6 with an RBI. Dodgers lead the Rockies 2-0 there in the bottom of the first at Los Angeles. And it's ball 1 to Ortega, the 9th Angel to bat here in the 9th inning.
Trying to get the knees. You get them and you don't get the call. Up at that front part of the plate, bottom of the knees. That's what you're looking for.
It's 2-0. The Seattle Mariners are bombing the Twins 10-1. They're in the middle of the 8th inning at Minnesota. If Seattle wins that game, the Mariners record is 81-72. And that is the Astros record right now. Those two teams will be meeting here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. .3-0 to Ortega. This will be an automatic take for him with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Strike, 3-1.
Yeah, you can see the first pitch was in the strike zone. This one just as much.
Fouled away, and now it's a full count. Ortega has walked 10 times this season in 162 at bats. Crowd cheering for Phillies to put out this fire. The Angels have scored 3 times to grab the lead. The bases loaded, 2 outs, a 3-2 count on Ortega. Fly ball, center field, shallow. Here's Correa out. Correa diving. He can't hold it. 2 runs have scored, and a 3rd run will come in. And the Angels really get a big hit from Ortega. just out of the glove of a diving Correa. 7-6 Angels, or 10-6 Angels now with a 3-run scoring. It was 7-6.
You cannot put more effort into this than Carlos Correa gave, and yet you come up empty. And there's that left shoulder again. Yeah. Watch Correa. Watch him dig now. Digging hard. All out, and it's not about lack of effort. That is for absolute certainty.
A jarring collision with the ground. Knocked the ball loose from his glove. And now the Astros are going to come out and look at him. Jeremiah Randall. A.J. Hinch out to look at Carlos Correa.
Get another peek at this play. Carlos Correa could see him coming to the plate in the bottom of the 9th inning, but it does not look like that's going to happen.
He's coming out of this game. A.J. Hinch was pretty forceful, it appeared, in talking with him and maybe convincing him it was best to come out. It's just guesswork at this point, but you know Correa does not want to come out of this game. So A.J. will need a new shortstop to finish the top of the 9th inning here. Marwin Gonzalez could move over. Yeah, A.J. Reed's coming out to play first, so Marwin will switch gloves and head for shortstop to take over there, and his versatility again comes into play for the Astros. It's as if he's waiting for his shortstop glove to be brought to him, his infield glove rather than the first baseman's mitt. And the glove is delivered.
Wonder how difficult it is for Marwin to utilize that first baseman's glove so much and then have to turn to the much smaller shortstop glove now.
Yeah. He makes the transition from position to position seamlessly, like very few can do. A few warm-up tosses in that glove, and now he's ready to go. And it's Cliff Pennington batting for the 2nd time in the inning. What a development there, going from 7-6 to 10-6 on what is a pinch 3-run double by Ortega. Pennington started it with a single here in the 9th inning. He's 1 for 4. That's ball 1. Well, this Astros crowd is stunned at Minute Maid Park after this huge 9th inning. 6-run scoring for the Angels so far. Fouled away by Pennington. The numbers on Ken Giles are 30 pitches, 1/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 6 runs, 3 walks, no strikeouts. It's 2-2 to Pennington. Kevin Chapman's in the bullpen for Houston. Got him on strikes. The Angels sending 10 men to the plate in a 6-run 9th. They get 4 hits along the way. They lead it 10-6. they batted around, and then they added one to that in their 6-run ninth inning after the Astros batted around in their 5-run sixth inning. J.C. Ramirez comes in now with a 4-run lead. Has 1 save and 5 opportunities, a 2-4 record, a 4.46 ERA. There are other changes as well. Shane Robinson's in left field, and the catcher is Jet Bandy.
Last 11 games, very good numbers for Ramirez, pitching well. Well, all you can do is drop a good old-fashioned rally on him.
The way this game is going, you wouldn't rule it out necessarily, right?
Seems to be the trend.
Yeah, Oscar Hernandez would love to start one. He is 0 for 3 in this game. George Springer will bat next. And Yuli Gurriel is due up third. Then Altuve could come up if the Astros get something going. Hernandez is struck out. He's grounded out and he's fouled out. Moves back from ball 1. Ramirez came in last night in the 2-0 Angel win. He pitched the 8th and gave up 2 hits, no runs. Gave up a pinch double to Tyler White and a single to George Springer. He misses with that one, and it's 2-0. Andrew Bailey may not be available. He got the save last night. Not a save situation with a 4-run lead and 1 inning to go. In for a strike call. That makes it 2-1. Ramirez is 24 years old. He's from Nicaragua. Inside. And it's 3-1. The Astros facing him for the 8th time this season. Chop back to the pitcher. There's 1 out. George Springer will follow. 3rd straight night J.C. Ramirez has pitched in a game for the Angels. Springer singled in the 3rd inning. George 1 for 4 in this game. The Mariners are batting in the 9th, leading Minnesota 10-1. Rangers lead the Athletics 3-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Strike 1 to Springer. It's the Padres 3, the Giants nothing there in the bottom of the 3rd in San Diego. Into Springer. It's 1-1. Mark Trumbo hit a walk-off homer in the 12th to give the Orioles their 3-2 win over Arizona. Another Trumbomb. That's his 44th. Two and 1.
Who saw in the crystal ball this year? Trumbo and Dozier.
One hopper Escobar. 2 outs. Now the Astros are down to their final out with Gurriel batting. He's been on twice with an infield hit and a walk. Altuve comes out to the on-deck circle. Drew Pomeranz won for Boston 2-1 at Tampa Bay tonight, beating Chris Archer. Brad Ziegler got his 22nd save. The Red Sox are 90 and 64. Ball 1 to Gurriel. Tomorrow night it's a 6:10 start here for Brad Peacock and Jhoulys Chacin. Sunday at 1:10 it's Joe Musgrove and Daniel Wright. Escobar Takes care of that play to end it. And the Angels rally with a 6-run ninth inning to take it 10-6. They've won the first 2 games of this 4-game series. This one took 3 hours and 34 minutes. Albert Pujols and company walking off the field with a come-from-behind effort. 12 hits for the Angels tonight. They take it from the Astros 10-6.